হ্যালো গাইস, তো আজকে আমরা ফেরত চলে এসেছি গানুসিন ইম্প্যাক্ট খেলতে। আর আজকে আমাদের টার্গেট হচ্ছে চ্যাপ্টার 3 অ্যাক্ট 4 সুমেরু আর্কন কোয়েস্ট কন্টিনিউ করা। কারণ গাইস আমরা আজকে এই কোয়েস্টটাকে স্টার্ট করছি, তো কতটা লম্বা হবে জানি না। তো গাইস ঢুকে পড়েছি আমরা আমাদের ওয়ার্ল্ডে। অরিজিনাল রেজিন হট করে দেখছি 38 হয়ে গেছে, আর আমরা একটু রেপুটেশন রিওয়ার্ডও পাবো। সো আমাদের রেপুটেশন একটু হালকা হালকা বাড়ছে। চলো গাইস আমরা লেগে পড়বো আমাদের এতে। কিং ডেসরেট অ্যান্ড দ্য থ্রি বলতে পারবো না গাইস। এনিহু আমাদের নেভিগেশন অন আছে আর চুমন ঢুকে পড়েছে আমাদের
Excuse me, did you
চ্যাটে।
happen to
চ্যাটে
see the
নয়,
missing scholars
ডিরেক্ট
win?
ইয়েতে
You mean the village keepers?
কলে।
Oh, let me think. When I was eating dinner the other day, I
আছি
saw one
কাকা,
run by the side
আছি।
of the road,
তুমি শুনতে কি
muttering
পাচ্ছো?
away and eating mushrooms and tree roots. They shouldn't
Okay,
go around eating
there
that
you
kind
go.
of stuff.
Okay. Did you notice anything else?
তো
Anything
গাইস আমাদের
else?
এখানে ভিলেজ কিপাররা হাওয়া হয়ে যাচ্ছে।
No, I think that's all I have to tell you.
আর
Sorry.
কিং ডেসরেট মানে কিং দশরথ, কিং দশরথকে টেনে নিয়ে চলে এসছে এখানে। কেন জানি না, বাট টেনে নিয়ে চলে এসছে। আর তারপরেরটা তো গাইস আর মুখে উচ্চারণ করা যাবে না ফ্যামিলি ফ্রেন্ডলি কন্টেন্টে, কারণ বাংলায় মানেটা খুবই বাজে। তো আমাদের সামনে শনি দাঁড়িয়ে আছে ইন আ ফর্ম অফ ফিমেল বডি। দেখি কথা বলেনি।
The scholars that have gone missing. Have you seen them?
Those eyes.
Those
fierce
fierce
eyes.
eyes.
You look like a real fighter.
Don't change the subject.
Right. You were asking about the I mean, the mad scholars. I think it's been a
Hide
few
guys,
days since I
mad
last saw
scholars.
them. I usually go to bed pretty early, so I'm not too familiar with what goes on at night. But honestly, I feel quite sympathetic towards them. Even though they act a little strange, they've helped me in the past. If it weren't for them...
Do you also think Grandpa and the others?
Grandpa? Oh, hello there. It's little Isak. You mean that nice man who looks like your grandpa's long-lost twin, right? He was actually the one who protected my house. I saw it with my own eyes. He happened to be staying near my house that day and was doing something with his hands on the ground. It still feels pretty surreal now that I think back on it. Did someone teach them how to do that? Well, whatever the case, I'll always be thankful to him and whoever taught him to look out for others. I'm pretty sure that if I ever
guys,
went
bok
mad,
bok খুবই
I wouldn't
করছে।
be able to do anything like that.
বক বক চালিয়ে যাচ্ছে।
Gotcha.
তো ইসাক তুমি চুপ করে থাকো, আমাদের ইনফরমেশন গ্যাদারিং এ ফালতু বাওয়াল বেড়ে যাচ্ছে। তো গাইস এখানে তুমি অবস্থা দেখতেই পাচ্ছ, বিড়ালদেরও বিড়ালগিরি আছে। গাইস এনিহাউ আমাদেরকে লোয়ার যেতে হবে। ইয়েস, আমাদেরকে লোয়ারই যেতে হবে। তো দাঁড়িয়াল জওয়ারির কাছে চলে যাব, কি বলতে চায় দেখে
Sir,
নেব।
have you seen my grandpa recently? You know, the one who likes...
Oh, well, if it isn't Isak. Oh, your grandpa, huh? The last time I saw him, he was spacing out by the road as usual. I went and asked him if he'd like any of the food I had prepared, despite my wife's protests. Like many people, she's really quite terrified of them. And speaking of my wife, she's still always complaining about how I don't make enough mora. That might explain why she's always mad at me.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for taking care of him.
It was nothing. You're looking for him, right? Did he go for a walk and get lost?
Yeah.
That's no
তো
good.
গাইস এর গ্র্যান্ডপা খুঁজতে বেরিয়ে আমাদের প্রচন্ড বক করতে হচ্ছে।
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Huh?
সাইনো কি হয়েছে সাইনো?
Don't say anything for now. Isak, stay here. Let's head over there. Stay quiet as you move.
ব্যাস ইসা কিছু একটা বাওয়াল দিয়েছে যার জন্য আমাদের বাওয়াল শুরু হয়ে গেছে।
Thank you. And sorry.
Follow Sino.
And embrace a wonderful new life.
সাইনো কিছু তো ধরতে পেরেছে।
Listen, see if you can make out what they're saying.
Have you heard? The mighty King Deshret, the sovereign of our faith, will soon return to this world.
Yes, of course I have. King Deshret is the one and only true ruler of this land. I've never believed in any other gods. Still, you say he's coming back, but it sure doesn't feel like life's about to change around here anytime soon. What's your proof?
Haven't you noticed? The village has been getting more deranged scholars than ever. Delavar was saying that many people also went insane just before the fall of King Deshret's civilization in ancient times. We don't quite know why, but it seems like there's some sort of connection between insanity and King Deshret. Isn't it a sign of King Deshret's power that all the mad scholars have disappeared?
পাওয়ার যেটা
If
ওরা
you ask
বলছে
me, they must have been chosen as the
এখানে
final
কোনো রাজা
sacrifice for King
দশরথ নেই।
Deshret's resurrection.
বেসিক্যালি স্ক্যারামুশ
Now that you say it,
গড হতে চলেছে
that does
এই
make some sense.
রিজিয়নের। সেটাই
Does this
একাডেমিয়ায়
mean our lives are
আমাদের
finally going to
ডক্টর
take a turn for the better?
ওকে গড বানিয়ে তুলছে।
Exactly. Those city folks will get what's coming to them.
Now, repeat everything you've just said from the very beginning.
Huh?
Who are you?
My patience is running thin. You heard what I asked.
এ ভাই মারধর করবি না, এক্ষুনি ক্যান্ডাস এসে বাওয়াল দেবে।
Bro, this guy's something else. Just look at his eyes. One wrong move and he's gonna flay us alive.
Let's not get on his bad side, okay?
Oh, okay, good sir. What is it you would like to know?
Tell me about King Deshret's.
Well, I only know a few things from hearsay. I went for a drink the other day and heard others talking about a rumor that the madman will disappear and that King Deshret will return to this land. I'm not making this up, I swear.
Hey, go on.
It's true. It's all true, sir. We desert folk have had more than enough of those people at the academia. They keep sending us all their mad scholars and won't let us have a good life. Would you want to live like this if you were in our place? The radicals were even more thrilled than me when they heard the news. We're all praying for King Deshret's speedy return. Delavar also said that once King Deshret returns to our side, it's only a matter of time before we conquer the land on the other side of the wall. They're all willing to serve under King Deshret and fight for a share of the glory.
Is that so?
Seems like he still wants to know more.
হুড়ুক
Keep
কুচকেছে।
talking.
Got it! At first, I told myself it was just the drink talking, but then all the mad scholars vanished without a trace, just as the rumors said. Please don't beat me up just for mentioning these rumors. If I'm guilty, then everyone else around here is also guilty. I'm just.
The people here really like King Deshret, but dislike the Dendro Archon.
Where is this radical person you talked about?
I haven't run into him over the past few days, so he probably hasn't been around the village. What about you, man? Have you seen him at all?
No, not at all. We wouldn't dare lie to you. He's really...
Sounds like you're not too close with the radicals.
No, of course not. All we know are their names.
I have many
Bolo
ways
dekhi,
to
nam
stop
nam
you from
bolo.
talking. So you'd best just stay home and hope I don't hear of you trying to contact anybody. Don't do anything until I've gotten to the bottom of this. Try something foolish, and even Candace won't be able to protect you.
Yes, got it. We'll do just as you say.
That scared Paimon half to death. Sino is pretty terrifying.
তা বটে, good thing I'm not one of your enemies.
He didn't try to reassure us at all. It's like he's used to hearing that. Oh, Paimon bets lots of people have told him that before.
I heard that.
Sorry.
It's part of being a Matra. The rumor we heard just now seems like a strong lead. But we need to check a few more places.
চলো
Very
স্কলার্সদের হোমটা দেখি।
Isak!
I'm here.
Where's your grandpa's house?
Well, I can take you there. Just follow.
চলো গাইস, বাচ্চাদেরকে ফলো করতে হবে। তো গাইস, কেউ পেডোফাইল লিখো না কমেন্টে, খালি বাচ্চাদের ফলো করছি, বেশি কিছু না।
Grandpa, he likes to be alone. Sometimes he stares at the sky in a daze, and other times he just pokes at the ground with his fingers. Every now and then, he yells out at the top of his lungs, so a lot of people are really scared of him. But he's a good person, really. I know he is. I swear, he's just like my real grandpa.
তো গাইস, ভিলেজের থেকে তো অনেকটাই দূরে বাড়ি। কি করে হলো এখানের বাড়ি? এ তো বজ্জাতের হাড়ি।
Well, this is where Grandpa usually stays.
There sure isn't much here.
No.
Whiff of incense.
Incense? Please don't say it's the same one as before. But are you
এটাই
okay?
সেটা।
Are you getting dizzy or need to lie down?
There's a scent that you can sense, but I can't.
A certain traveler here once passed out from that smell. Thankfully, Tainari saved the day. And then he gave us a long lecture to explain all about how it worked.
So, you know Tainari?
Huh? You know him too? Are you two friends?
Yes. Now that I concentrate, I can also make out the scent of incense.
Wait, surely Tainari didn't lecture you too?
No, no need. Did you first encounter this scent at Tainari's house?
Oh, it was in a video.
forest. From a scholar.
চলো গাইস, ক্লু খুঁজতে বসি। ক্লু অবজার্ভ ফুটপ্রিন্টস। আর কিছু? অবজার্ভ গুডস হলো না। ক্যাকটাই না, ক্যাকটাসের দিকে কিছু নেই। স্টার রুম সেরকম গাইস কিছুই পাওয়া গেল না।
What are you looking for, Sino?
Here it is. Take a look right here.
Paimon doesn't see anything.
Although the traces have been completely buried in the sand, there are footprints here, from the size and shape. They belong to an adult male. This pattern is a common one from this area. Local shoes. This was probably someone from the village. The scent is quite faint, but still extant. The footprints head in that direction.
এক্সটেন্ট মানে হচ্ছে গাইস এক্সিস্টেন্ট। এক্সটেন্ট হচ্ছে এক্সিস্টেন্টেরই শর্ট ফর্ম। Footprints in that.
But who would come looking for Grandpa?
We'd have to ask whoever lured him away with the incense.
Huh? So you can lure someone away with just a scent?
হ্যাঁ
What's
নিশ্চয়ই।
wrong with liking good food? Everyone's got something.
Exactly. Most scholars are fond of incense, since the smell supposedly helps them clear their minds and discover new knowledge. Even deep within the clutches of madness, they still yearn for their knowledge-seeking days, and we'll follow the scent whenever it presents its.
No,
So, someone's taking advantage of their weakness? Huh. Still, why would anyone want to abduct all the scholars? Are the rumors really true? Could the disappearance of all the mad scholars have something to do with the radicals?
It's highly.
please, you have to save my grandpa.
তো চলো
Grandpa's never
কাকা
done anything.
ইসাকের
Sounds like
গ্র্যান্ডপাকে
we'd better help
খুঁজে
get
বার
him back.
করতেই
Let's head to
হবে
Aru Village and inform Candace and the others about what we learned
বাট ইন দ্য
here.
মিন টাইম যেতে হবে আমাদের ক্যান্ডাসের কাছে তো আই বিলিভ ক্যান্ডাসের বাড়ির সামনেই একটা টেলিপোর্ট ওয়ে পয়েন্ট আছে আমরা চলে যাব সেইটাতেই
Right. The darker fabric definitely looks a lot better. That'd be my choice, too.
We're back, Candace! We've got a lot to tell you.
Ah, welcome back.
Sounds like everyone's friends already.
Oh, Dia's here too!
You bet. So, everything goes smoothly?
Reasonably.
I'll hate.
We haven't seen him at all.
Huh. I saw him around the village entrance earlier and figured he was investigating with you. I guess he must have gone off on his own.
তাহলে আলহাইতাম
Did you find
নিজেদের
out anything
মতন
useful?
মানে নিজের মতন ইনভেস্টিগেশন করছে আর আমরা ইনভেস্টিগেশন করছি সাইনোর সাথে
I see. So someone used a kind of incense to lead the exiled scholars away from the village.
The resurrection of King Deshret? First I've heard of it. Far as I know, the kind of incense you just mentioned is only popular beyond the wall. Scholars are fond of it, but as you can see, there aren't many scholars still studying around these parts. No seller would be able to make a profit here. Not to mention, making incense is a labor-intensive process. You won't see anybody in the
guys,
desert
একজন
with the
আমাদের
patience to make or sell
আমাদের
something that
উপর
requires
ট্যাবস
that kind of
রাখছে
effort.
মানে আমাদের
It
পিছু
seems
পিছু
someone from
ঘুরছে
beyond the wall must have been supporting this.
Makes sense.
So what should we do then?
If it was any other day, that would be your next logical step. But today, you've got me on your team, so you get an extra tip. Didn't you say that the village...
If Paimon remembers correctly,
লিডার অফ
the
দ্য
leader of the radicals is some guy called Delavar.
জেলাওয়া
Ah, yeah. Delavar, the scar-riddled bandit, Enger, the wide-eyed butcher, and Jabari, the duck-tailed, bearded crook. The whole lot of them are known around these parts. These guys have one thing in
Jabari.
common, and that's being broke. The rougher life gets, the more they want to believe in King Deshret. Way they see it, King Deshret's resurrection is their only chance at overthrowing the academia. Throwing all of Sumeru into chaos is the only way to change the way of life here in the desert. Anyway, that's my guess why they've chosen to become radicals.
কিন্তু সাইনো কি ট্যাব রাখেনি
Amazing! You really know this place inside and out.
He is winking at me. Maybe I should stay quiet for
No merc can afford to slack off on gathering intelligence. Every mora I've spent in the tavern has been a valuable investment.
Let's head out.
Now hold on, you're staying right here, Sino.
Why?
Aru Village is not a big place. Outsiders stand out here like a sore thumb. I'd bet word about you has already gotten out. The desert is unforgiving, so the way of life here is also a lot tougher than on the outside of the wall. You survived. Compared to you, mercs like me are just third-rate amateurs. I've got no actual fighting skills to speak of. But that also makes it a whole lot easier for me to gain the locals' trust. I need to go around and ask some questions, but it'll be difficult if you're with me. Good, then we've got a plan. The Traveler and Paimon will go to Caravan Rebot with me, and we'll try our best to figure out where the mad scholars have been taken.
Mad scholars
Sino,
there,
you'll have to stay in the village and continue investigating on your own.
Alright, sounds like a plan.
আমরা জাবারির সাথে কথা বলে ফেলেছি ডে কিছু একটা ধরতে পেরেছে যে আমাদের পিছু পিছু আসছিল তার উপরে চলে যাবো গাইস ক্যারাভান রিভার্ট নামতে না নামতেই গাইস কাট সিন শুরু।
Well, here we are again.
Sounds like you're starting to get familiar with the area.
Paimon's amazed every time we see the wall of Samiel. How can a wall this tall even exist? It's almost unreal.
I know what you mean. I had the same question every time I walked this way when I was a kid. Also, why is this high wall here? And can a wall really block sandstorms?
পারে ডেয়া পারে, কারণ ওয়ালটা বানানো ইয়ের থেকে প্লান্ট বেসড মেটেরিয়াল দিয়ে, যার পরে স্যান্ড পার্টিকেলস জমতে 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 ওটা এখন হার্ড ওয়াল হয়ে গেছে।
It was only after I grew up that I realized the wall of Samiel isn't just there to keep out the sandstorms. It serves a more important purpose, keeping out people like us. Sumeru is run by wise and mighty sages. To them, us desert dwellers are nothing but tools that can be used and discarded at their whim. We're cheap labor, like livestock, but easier to control. Nothing more. Even if a child from the desert got the chance to obtain an Akasha terminal, almost all their requests for knowledge would be denied. The academia believes we're underserving. Geniuses like Sataria are one in a million. The other children never get a single chance to try and rewrite their fate, even though the academia knows very well that we're humans, just as they are.
That's terrible.
I would tear down this wall with my own hands if I could.
Hey, Dia. You're not thinking about doing anything scary, are you?
Just
No,
exactly
not
the
at all.
same.
This place just gets me thinking, that's all. Besides, we're here to procure information, aren't we?
Yep, we gotta catch those.
Shh!
গাইস কেউ আমাদের উপরে
Caravan Rebot
ট্যাব
is
রাখছে।
crawling with people, so be careful what you say. We don't want anyone to find out what we're here for. Our mission started the moment we arrived here. Let's go check out the tavern. Maybe we'll find someone I know.
চলো গাইস অ্যাকুইন্টেন্সেস খোঁজা যাক।
Just our luck. None of them are here today.
You mean you don't see anyone you know?
Dia, is that you? What a coincidence. You here for a drink too?
Zaki. Fine.
Oh, and who do you have with you here? Guests from another land? Hello,
Nice to meet you.
hello. I'm Zaki. Dia's, how would you put it? Drinking buddy?
We've had drinks together a few times. You could say we go back a ways. Anyway, as far as my friends here, they aren't too shabby, are they? You rarely see any Outlanders so friendly and respectful nowadays.
Absolutely. Much better than those people on the other side of the wall. So, Dia, are you looking for someone?
Yeah. Have you seen Engur, Delavar, or Jabari recently?
Of course
I
I
have
have.
seen
Matter of
Jabari.
fact, we were all here drinking together just a few days ago.
I've got a spice trading deal from another nation. I thought maybe Delavar and his friends might be interested. Know where I could find him?
Ah, how thoughtful of you. Then I assume you also know that Delavar's been having a hard time making ends meet these days. So, you came here to help him out?
Hey, keep it down. Let's just say I prefer to keep this deal a secret. Y'all at Caravan Rebot are like family. If there's more to be made, why not do it together? Besides, Delavar and his friends have muscle. They'd be a good fit for escorting the goods.
Yes, how considerate of you. Delavar's my friend too, so of course I can take you to him. Come with
তো
me.
গাইস কিছু একটা ডিল স্ট্রাকিং হলো। চলো গাইস ফলো করতে হবে।
কাকে ফলো করবি রে?
ফলো তো করতে হবে কাকা, 140 মিটার দূরে যেতে হবে। আর এই 140 মিটারটা আমাদেরকে পায়ে হেঁটেই যেতে হবে কারণ আশেপাশে কোনো টেলিপোর্ট ওয়ে পয়েন্ট নেই। তো আমরা মোটামুটি গ্রাসল্যান্ড থেকে ডেজার্টের দিকে চলে যাচ্ছি।
Are we there yet?
Yep.
This place is practically deserted. What are they doing in a place like this?
Why don't you take a guess? Go on. A wild stab in the dark. You're like lambs to the slaughter.
চলো গাইস, ল্যাম্পস টু দ্য স্লটার। তো ওরা করবে না, ওটা করব আমরা। পাঙ্গা নিতে এসছে আমাদের সাথে।
What's this all about, Zaki?
তো তোমরাও জানো
Come on,
গাইস,
Dia.
আমরা এদের
You
সাথে
really
কি
think we
করতে
didn't hear about what
চলেছি।
you said back in Aru village? The boys have kept a close eye on you from the moment you set foot there. Not only do I know that you're looking for Delavar, I also know that you've teamed up with people from the academia to look for the missing scholars.
So, you've been watching us from the very beginning?
Uh-oh. I knew leaving Sino behind was a mistake.
And you left the strongest one in the village, didn't ya? Who do you think you are? You really thought we'd fall for your little business deal nonsense?
তো বিজনেস
So you
ডিল
and
ননসেন্সে
Delavar have
যদি
been
তোমরা
partners all along.
বিশ্বাস নাই করে থাকো তাহলে চলো,
But you got one
হাট
thing
মুখে লাভ
right.
নেই। তোমাকে
We're all
আমি
looking forward to an
পে
uprising
দিয়ে
in
লাল করে
Sumeru.
দেবো,
There's
নোংরামো পার
nothing
করে
more
দেবো।
we'd like to see than the desert folk overthrowing the academia.
If that's the case, then I'm sure Delavar wouldn't miss a second of it.
I'll be honest with you. If it weren't for what you said in the village, your little monologue.
Delavar. And Enger, you're here too, huh?
তো গাইস দুটো
Long
মালিক
time no see, Miss Mercenary. You should have known the traitors are what us followers of King Deshret despise the most.
Dia, I thought that you, a fellow desert dweller, would understand why King Deshret is greater than the Dendro Archon. Little did I know, you don't deserve to join us.
Yeah, gee, what a missed opportunity. Adopting radical views and kidnapping innocent scholars, all because of some baseless
See? There you have it. Mercenaries are just a bunch of faithless scum with only one thing on their minds. Mora. Pathetic. You're all like a pack of street rats.
You're not wrong. Mercenaries are driven by Mora, and my faith lies with whoever's paying me. As long as there's a profit to be made, anyone can become my friend.
Enough talking! Get him!
চলো গাইস, সিগন্যাল পড়ে গেছে ধনাধনি করার।
Just as I expected. Let's teach him a lesson, traveler.
Following order, new punching bag.
নিউ পাঞ্চিং ব্যাগ, এত সাহস কোথায় রাখে? এক্ষুনি সবকটাকে ধুনে দাও। 3 ডাউন, কত টু গো দেখতে হবে।
Judgment!
যা
Impossible! How could
দাদা
you?
আরো 10টা পাঠাও, পাঁচখানা ছিল
what do you
নেমে
think
গেছে
about your
তো।
meticulous network now, Zaki? How did you say it? It's only
Why?
natural for a traveling
এই
mercenary like
কটা।
me to be out of the loop.
আমি ফালতু
I'm
ফালতু
guessing your
বুস্টগুলোকে নষ্ট
informant
করলাম।
told you that I'm just an incompetent merc with no real fighting skills, correct? I mean, that is what And of course, even though you
বুঝলেন
heard
দাদা?
we went to handle monsters together, you believed that Candace was the
H1.
only one doing all the real fighting. That so-called flame
ছটা
man
মাল
is just a
পাঠিয়েছে।
fraud. She admitted
আছে।
it herself. She just uses her connections to gain the trust of others.
6টা মাল
That's what you
নামিয়েছে,
thought,
5টা
right?
মাল এক স্ট্রাইকে হাওয়া।
You lied in the village because you figured that we'd
লাস্ট
have
মালটা
people
আরেকটা
watching
মার
you.
বেশি মারতে হয়েছে।
And you were stupid enough to fall
আমি এদিকে
for it.
বলছি
I figured as much
ভাই
the first time
আরো
we drank
10টা পাঠা,
together.
মন ভরেনি।
You all thought you were so smart. Pathetic. Okay,
চলো
that should
guys,
be all of them.
আমরা মার্শালাকে মোড়ের মাথায় করে
So
ফেলেছি।
you've been planning this since we were in Aru village?
No task can be
Aru
done without
Dharu
preparation.
Maru.
I just happened to notice a couple suspicious-looking people while you were out investigating.
Oh, but instead of catching them right away, you
Those two who were snooping around were just a couple small fries. If we want to get the real catch, we have to be patient and give it some time.
Oh, you mean the funny name she mentioned back in Uncle Ampu's house? The wide-eyed butcher, scar-riddled bandit,
That's just a bunch of drunk talk. Edgar and Delavar like to talk themselves up when they're drinking. Edgar, the wide-eyed butcher, and Delavar, the scar-riddled bandit, are the nicknames they came up with for themselves. Alcohol has a way of making people share what they really think. So Edgar and Delavar are always rambling in the tavern about how King Deshret is a superior deity.
What about Zaki?
He's just a numbskull who fell right into our trap. Zaki was probably the best hidden of them all. My initial plan was to find Delavar first, and then try to track him down.
Who is the doctor?
That's what you wanted to ask when we were at Uncle Anpu's house, right? Jabari is one of the villagers you talked to. You know, the one who wanted to treat Isak and his grandpa to some food.
Wait, so he's a radical
No, he isn't. I just needed to tack on a random villager name to make the eavesdropper think that I was making some wild guesses based on my impressions.
Wow, what a genius idea! Well?
Ah, you're too kind. It was straight from the usual playbook, if I'm honest.
So,
তো গাইস মারধর তো করা হয়ে
About
গেল
what?
about
এত
how
ভক ভক কেন
mercenaries only care about Mora.
Does that bother you? What makes you so sure?
Dia, do you dislike the Dendro Archon like the other?
You two are pretty sharp. No, I don't have anything against the Dendro Archon. I've heard a lot of nice things about the Lesser Lord from Dunyarzad. I can understand her devotion and gratitude. Dunyarzad's just an ordinary person. There's no way a god would be so involved in the lives of everyday people.
I've begun to realize that the sages are behind everything that's happened recently. The radicals' blind belief in King Deshret, making the Dendro Archon out to be an enemy. It's all the academia's trickery.
But I see through it all. And unlike them, I can never be hostile towards anyone who's never done anything wrong.
Dia.
তো গাইস জিয়া একজন খুব
Anyway,
ভালো
looks
ক্যারেক্টার
like we're done with business
করলে
here.
তোমার চাপ
Traveler,
নেই
lend me a hand. Let's tie him up and bring him to the village.
কারণ গাইস 50-50 লুজ করলে মানে মিশিং এ 50-50 লুজ করে তাহলে জিয়া বা টিনারি সবাই পাচ্ছে ইভেন আমি দুবার টিনারি পে
This should be all of them.
আমার টিনারি
I'll let you
C1
take
হয়ে
it from
গেছে
here.
All right. I'll be in touch. Until then, please stand by.
Candace, do you need any help?
Candace will be okay on her own. I trust her, so you can too. She's been guarding Aru village for quite some time now. If anyone is qualified to question the offenders, it's her.
While I'm questioning them, why don't you pass some time by exploring the area?
I'll meet you back here tomorrow morning, Traveler. As for these idiots, let's just hope they live to see another day.
মানে গাইস 3rd ডিগ্রি পড়বে এদের উপরে চলো গাইস ওয়েট আনটিল নেক্সট মর্নিং দিয়ে দিয়েছে আমাদের ঘড়িতে বাজে 12টা জলদি জলদি টাইম মেশিন আরে ভাই গেনশিনে ভাই
সরি ভাই আমি কি করে জানবো তো গেনশিনে 12 মিনিট স্লো সরি 13 মিনিট স্লো
আরে তার উপরে আধ ঘন্টা ফাস্ট ছিল আমি খালি আওয়ারটা ধরেছি দাদা গাইস আমি তো 6টাই করলাম 6টা কি হয়নি নেক্সট মর্নিং মানে কি পরের দিনের মর্নিং বলেছে চলো গাইস আবার আরো একদিন ফাস্ট ফরওয়ার্ড
Don't we have a job to...
ঠিক আছে রোজারিয়া টানা মারতে হবে না
Right on time. We'll know any moment now.
Paimon's I'm wondering. You seem to know Candace pretty well. Have you been friends for a long time?
We've known each other for some time now. She's a pretty interesting person. Even though she's an extremely strong warrior, she never misuses her powers against others.
কিন্তু একটা ব্যাপার গাইস, ক্যান্ডাস এখানে আমাদের কাছে একজন 4 স্টার ক্যারেক্টার বিকজ আমি ক্যান্ডাস পেয়ে গেছি
Yep,
অলরেডি।
I guess you can put it that way. It takes strong convictions to be as dedicated as she is, and shoulder that kind of
এই
responsibility.
কিন্তু এখানে 5 স্টার।
Us mercs, on the other hand, we pretty much live for
দেইয়া
one
পাবে
day to
না
the
হলে
next.
টিনারি।
Well, Paimon thinks you're great too.
Really?
মাঝে মাঝে কয়েকজন
Thanks for that.
ডিলুকও পেয়ে থাকে।
Oh, Sino's here, and he's pretty early too.
Yes. I was here yesterday to help out a little.
To help out? For doing what?
Sharing
guys,
some interrogation
reinforcement.
techniques.
ভালো করে ডেকেছে।
Oh, you mean you taught Candace some more persuasive methods?
Right.
Let's call it that only. Persuasive method.
Come on in, everyone.
গাইস
Come
এতে
on,
জান বার করে
let's go
দিয়েছে
inside.
ক্যান্ডাস। চলো কি ইনফরমেশন বেরোলো শোনা যাক। কিন্তু ব্যাপার একটাই, বক বক।
Candace, where? Whoa, you look furious.
Do I? Huh. What gave it away?
Oh, there's no mask that can hide true bloodlust. Cover up your eyes, and it'll still show itself at the corners of your mouth.
Perhaps I need to work on my composure. Still, it's perfectly understandable why I'm angry. I'm sure everyone present would agree.
Yes, ma'am. Please, don't beat us anymore. We're gonna die.
Well, looks
So
like
guys,
Sino
next up-
taught her well.
ক্যান্ডাস কেমন পিটিয়ে দিয়েছে পাবলিকদেরকে।
You fear death yourselves, yet you do not hesitate to place the lives of others at risk. The absurdity is mind-boggling. The ones you call mad scholars are known to us as the Village Keepers. They are vital members of our community. You come here to my village, and you treat my people as nothing more than stepping stones towards your goal. Tell me, what would you do to you in my position?
Mercy! Please have mercy!
You've made your bed.
We may all be desert dwellers, but there's one thing that I understand better than you. The resurrection of King Deshret will only result in war. And war serves no one. The people of Aru Village care little about which god is in power. Life may be tough and tiring, but we wish to preserve our way of life. A war would only cause us to lose all that we have. And that is not a responsibility that you can afford to shoulder.
We understand. I'll tell you everything I know.
I'm listening.
You might not believe this, but it wasn't us who came up with this idea. Someone was spreading rumors in the tavern. That's how we ended up hearing about King Deshret's resurrection. Some mystery man told us that mad scholars will make the perfect sacrifice to usher in King Deshret's resurrection. They give their lives, and we can get anything we wish for.
They're called village keepers. Slip up again, and you'll regret it.
Oh,
yes,
Sino
sorry.
trade, guys. Sino
It was
trade.
all that mystery man's doing. He told us to spread the word about King
Ready?
Deshret's resurrection
What?
and talked us into helping him. In return,
পাচ্ছ খুব আজকে।
That's one.
Okay, bye, bhai. Good
huh?
night.
One what?
Strike.
Good night.
Good night.
You get a total of
কালকে
3.
কালকে কথা
Then
হচ্ছে।
Okay, bye.
you die by my hand.
Wait, I'm telling the truth. We don't know anything. It was all him.
Good night.
Good night. Good night.
2.
He got us to lure them out of their houses in the night with some kind of
So
incense.
guys, I know
We take them
কিন্তু
to a
thread
junction
দেওয়া
outside the
কিছুতেই
village.
ছাড়ছে
Then the
না।
mystery guy takes them from there. You gotta believe me, please. I'm
সকাল
telling you
3টা
the truth,
বলবে
I
এক্ষুনি।
swear. Just ask them if you don't believe me.
বল 3 বল।
That was indeed the truth. Traveler, go on.
You have to believe me. If I knew that, I would have told you his name right away. I'm not risking another beating to keep his secrets. No way. That guy, he wears a cloak, and he's always careful to cover his face. He calls himself King Deshret's envoy.
I believe I may know what's going on.
Uncle Anpu? What do you mean?
সাইন হয়ে গিয়ে পড়েছে আই রামপ্রদান পেয়ে দিয়েছে কাউকে
Smooth.
Okay, speak.
If my suspicions are correct, this mystery man they speak of could be from the academia. Some time ago, people from the academia attempted to take the village keepers away. I refused, insisting that they are part of our community. It strikes me now that this secretive character shares the same goal they had.
Which means it's highly likely that the academia was purposely spreading a false rumor to trick the radicals into delivering the village keepers right into their hands.
তো গাইস একটা জিনিস বলে
They
দিই
were the ones who brought them here to begin
মিস্টেরিয়াস
with.
ম্যান হচ্ছে
Now
দ্য
they're trying to take them
ডক্টর
back.
বাট উই
We
হারবিঞ্জার
aren't gonna let that happen.
এল দোতোরে
Not the academia again.
Just as I thought, but what could they want with the village?
People are nothing but tools in the eyes of the academia. That's... Regardless, our top priority now.
You're right. Isak is still waiting for news on his grandpa.
Time to go. Let's leave the village and try to track them down.
Yes. Pack up and get ready to leave.
You got it. Candace, I'll let you deal with the radicals. Leave everything outside the village to us.
All right.
Let's meet back here once everyone's ready.
তো গাইস যেটা বলতে পারি সেটা হচ্ছে ওই তিনটে মালের তো হাল বেহাল আবার কাটসিন গাইস অল হয়তো মিস বাই
Let's get some food in us and then we'll... Whoa! Where did you come from?
Well, as you can see, I am merely sitting here and reviewing what we have deduced thus far.
You were gone for ages, and now you're suddenly sitting here musing to yourself? Where have you been anyway? Hey, what's with the silence?
You never think things through before asking questions. I'm giving you some time.
Paimon's so mad! Paimon's gonna give you an ugly nickname!
Go ahead, don't stop.
There's just nothing super obvious to pick with this guy. It makes it so hard.
Well, you've heard nothing to suggest I left this whole time. So clearly, I stayed in the village to investigate. Anyway, you plan to leave Aru village and keep searching for the truth of this matter, yes?
Yep. We're not gonna find out anything more by staying here, so we thought that we might as well take the search elsewhere. Enough with the silent treatment!
No. I'm just surprised that you decided to team up with...
All Hatham. You haven't helped us out at all ever since we arrived at Aru village. But
Yeah,
while you were investigating, I had my own work to do.
really? Paimon doesn't...
To be honest, we aren't really a team, so I have no obligation to inform you of my whereabouts. Not to mention that going separate ways allowed me to find some important information that you all had missed.
তাহলে বলে ফেলো
Right here in the village?
Correct.
what did you learn?
I'm going to take you to someone. But before that, you need to understand where she's coming from.
What is that?
How do you think the residents of Aru village feel about what we're doing? In other words, do you truly believe every single word?
You mean some of them will...
Hiding the truth does not necessarily equate. Remember what Candace said? Most people in Aru village don't necessarily care which. By contrast, the perils of their daily lives are ever-present concerns. Glad you're following along. Among those you have talked to, there's someone who was consciously keeping you out of the loop.
In fact, she's been observing your every move since you arrived. The reason being, to someone who only wants to live there,
Those eyes.
Don't change this.
it's quite obvious.
Right. You were asking about the mad scholars.
She corrected herself mid-sentence because she's aware that there are King Deshret fanatics in the village.
If she sounds too friendly towards the village keepers, she could easily make herself the radicals' next target.
I think it's been a few days since I last saw them. I usually go to bed pretty early, so I'm not too familiar with what goes on at night.
Remember? She made a point of denying her involvement.
But honestly, I feel quite sympathetic towards them, even though they act a little strange.
After speaking to the village chief, it became clear that the village keepers had protected Aru village at night. In other words, the young miss was very much awake during that time.
Then why would
By getting involved with an outsider, she risks drawing unwanted attention to her.
I'll pass on this one. You said that she is afraid of me.
we're on it?
Chalo, we are on it also.
Miss Shawnee, as we discussed earlier, I've brought someone with me.
Mr. Alhaitham.
Huh? What do you mean?
Go ahead and talk to her. You go on.
Is it really that simple?
Yes, it is that simple.
May I call you Traveler? Hi, Traveler. Do you think the resurrection of King Deshret can truly change Sumeru for the better? Why's that? That's very similar to what Miss Candace before. I wouldn't eat Traveler. Do you believe our lives will get better?
Yeah, we came, but even so, we've met lots of people from different. We have friends in Sumeru, and we want to help them. That's why we decided to stay here for a while.
I want my apologies for posing my questions like that.
Alhaitham told us you have your reason.
The fact is that only one side of my family is desert folk. I don't really fit in anywhere in Sumeru. Some believe in the Dendro Archon, while others believe...
Speaking of which, the radicals meant...
Yeah. Some people can be so
guys,
narrow-minded when it comes to bloodline and
there,
beliefs.
bog bog.
It makes no difference what I say, or slowly, I just stopped talking to people. I pretended not to hear or see anything. All I want is to live my life in peace. And then it happened. The village keepers who had helped me disappeared with no explanation, and I didn't dare.
You can tell them. I'm sure.
All right. I'll tell you. I actually have a sharper sense of hearing than most. Sometimes, I hear strange crying sounds in the night.
There are ghosts?
Perhaps. I'm not sure. It's faint, but it's definitely the sound of crying. It used to be louder and more frequent. But ever since you arrived in the village, it doesn't seem to happen as often.
I confirmed this with the guards on night duty. They also have someone with a good ear, and he's heard similar sounds at night. But, because we're in the middle of a desert, he would rather believe that they are the cries of beasts than ghosts.
There's really nothing around these parts, except for an old hospital not far from the village.
I think they used to use it for treating Eleazar, but it's been abandoned for years.
Chalo guys, to hospital is chalo. A little far away from the village, যেখানে আছে 300 মিটার দূরে। তাও টেলিপোর্ট ওই পয়েন্টটা একটু তো কাছাকাছি নিয়ে যেতে পারছি। সিলিটা কোথায় যেতে চায়? আমরা কি ওকে জায়গায় পৌঁছে দিতে পারবো? লাইফলেস দার আল সিফা। তো গাইস, মাঝে মাঝে ইন্ডিয়া লাগে, মাঝে মাঝে কুয়েত লাগে, আর চারপাশে এরিমাইট লাগে। এসো কাকা, তোমায়ও আমি ধন্যবাদ। হবে তাড়াতাড়ি।
Nice and spicy.
একটা পেয়ে গেলাম আমরা রেডিশ। হুইট রেডিশ টমেটো এটা পেয়ে গেলাম কমন চেস।
The more the merrier. First round's on me.
আর একটা ডেন্ড্রোকিউলাস কোথাও তো আছে।
Is this the place? It's in terrible shape, and there's sand everywhere.
Empty and
Monsters! Watch out! Out of the frying pan, it's
চলে এসে গাইস।
Power that ended Haishan.
উইকেন আর হাইপার ব্লুম করে নাম রাখি নাম
Nice and spicy. You're toast.
Scatter! You can't run. Shiver. Eyes on me.
শিভার বলে আমরা শিভার মুভি স্পেস করে লেগে পড়েছি আমাদের।
Germinate!
Yeah.
জার্মিনেট অ্যাগ্রাভেট চম্পাউট
out of the frying pan, it's
স্টোন হাইড লাভা চাইকে আমরা দিলাম
They were
হাড়ি।
easier to deal with than Paimon had expected. Super strong bandits? Or... He looks super serious. We gotta stay on our A game too.
This is the one.
তাও ভালো গাইস, আলহাইতাম ছিল আমাদের সঙ্গে।
Let's go in and take.
Hey, I hate the...
Patience. Shawnee says she only hears the crying at night. We have time to burn. Until then,
কি
I'm taking a break.
And just like that, he sits down. Wait, what are you reading? Let Paimon...
Okay, sure.
Huh? The natural position, which is...
So,
Oh, Paimon gives up. You keep reading your book. See ya.
পাইমানের দেখে মাথা গেছে ঘুরে।
How is he so relaxed? Look at him, reading an impossible book in a creepy place like this. Hey, Paimon's your Tibet, and anyway, it's not Paimon's fault that the book's...
তো গাইস টাইম তো কিছু করে এরা পাস করিয়ে দিচ্ছে।
Paimon's getting so sleepy.
স্লিপি নয়
What was that sound?
there it is. It's coming from that direction.
Is the sound coming from here? Huh. Paimon's not seeing anything.
আমি চুপ আছি গাইস যাতে আমরা শুনতে পারি ঠিক করে।
It's from below.
But there's...
Something is off about the interior here. As I thought.
Wow. It's like they... Oh, it looks like there are other mech...
তো গাইস এটা গ্যারান্টি একটা ডোমেইন বানিয়ে দেবে এবারে। গাইস আমরা পেয়ে গেলাম আমাদের ডেন্ড্রোকিউলাস।
Propagate!
আরে কাকা এরকম ভাবে কেউ ওয়েস্ট করে? Investigate elemental monuments. এখানেও কিছু একটা আছে গাইস।
Nice
কি
and
আছে?
spicy.
কাগড়া মাথে আই মারলো বহুত জোরে মারলো।
Judgment! Power that ended High Shot!
Booba, get them!
enemy reinforcement দেখি।
Punishment! Yeah!
ঠিক আছে চালিয়ে নেবো, not a problem.
Out of the frying pan, into the fire!
Judgment!
Nice and spicy!
Scatter!
It's not over.
তো গাইস কিছু অ্যাচিভমেন্ট কিন্তু দিল না। ঠিক আছে গাইস, আই এম কন্টেন্ট উইথ ইট।
Propagate!
একটা হলো, আরেকটা কোথায় থাকবে? আরেকটা কি সামনের দিকে বা পিছনের দিকে? আমি গাইস একবার দেখি দোতলায় গিয়ে। এইদিকে আশেপাশে ডেন্ড্রো স্ট্যাচু। দেখতে পাওয়া গেছে গাইস।
Spring forth!
Out of the frying pan, into the fire! Hey, yeah!
Scatter!
তো গাইস মাঝে মাঝে দোতলায় গিয়েও কাজ হয়। ওল্ড ক্যাবিনেটে বেসিক্যালি আমরা কিছুই পাবো না ইয়ে ছাড়া। বিরিয়ানি, গেনশিন হ্যাজ বিরিয়ানি গাইস। তোমরা এটা কিছুতেই বিশ্বাস করতে পারবে না, গেনশিনে বিরিয়ানি আছে। আল আইটেম চলে আসবে।
There's someone over there! Good idea! Let's approach.
Wait.
Mad scholar guys, mad scholar.
You're...
He can't speak. And also, why?
Didn't expect to see him.
You know.
He's Razak, a senior of mine at the academia.
He's a scholar too? Is he the kind that holes up in a forest and mumbles stuff about training?
No. And Razak was never involved in any of those things. He never trained in the forest, let alone reach Satyavada life. Leaving that question aside, looks like they've already taken everyone away. For whatever reason, they left Razak here. There are drag marks on the ground. They're clearer by the doorway. Someone was forcefully drawing a cart that was loaded with something.
Loaded with.
That is one possibility. It looks like they were in a hurry. The symptoms are identical.
Huh?
Allow me to jog your memory. Recall your time at Port. Don't you think his symptoms look familiar?
মোটামুটি ফ্যামিলিয়ারই আছে guys.
Oh, now
Correct. It isn't difficult to deduce their rationale. First, these rumors were all the persuasion that the rat, as well as being life for the desert dwellers, has been brutal ever since King Deshret's death all those years ago. Beneath the surface, feelings of desperation are widespread. Many would give everything they have for the prospect of something better. Even if complications arise, people will see that the notion of an academia plot wouldn't.
Oh, that makes a lot. But
তাহলে guys,
Throughout this process,
আলাইতাম
first,
যেটা
they
বলছে
were
সেটা
scholars.
হচ্ছে
Then, they became lunatics. After that, they were
became
exiles. And finally,
missing
they
person.
become. An exile is still patently if you can't find someone.
resource?
One possibility is that the information in their brains could be extracted into knowledge capsules.
Extracted? You mean can't?
With the technology of the Sumeru Academia, it's entire. Perhaps the process caused them great suffering, which is why they cry out in the dead of night when no one is watching them.
So, the human brain. Nope. Nah.
I'm the Academia scribe, after all. I'm familiar with their project. Anyway, judging by Razak's state, the contents of a divine knowledge capsule were extracted from his mind. But, or perhaps, his curiosity got the better of him, and he used such a capsule for himself.
Hyman's a little confused.
They're using divine.
The look on your face tells me you've realized the answer. That's right. To some scholars, gaining knowledge about the gods is their entire life's pursuit. However, I can't help but wonder, what do they seek to gain from divine knowledge? The Academia is going out of their way. I've spent quite some time trying to analyze the contents of the divine knowledge capsule, but to no avail. It's.
You mean you're not even slightly interested in getting your hands on this forbidden stuff?
All scholars seek to expand the horizons of knowledge, but I'm not particularly interested in gods, so I don't share their degree of zealotry. Extracting information from people as if they were lifeless objects? If this is the direction of academic progress, then the Academia may as well shut its doors.
Sounds like you're really against all this.
Of course. The Academia's actions run contrary to whether it be academics or not. This matter needs to be corrected. Just like fixing a.
Wait, didn't you step in to help because you felt sympathy for those poor people?
Not to be callous, but no. My criteria are there is no shortage of suffering.
Probably not.
You can say that. Simply put, I don't blindly place the divine knowledge capsule as something I want to investigate in full. That doesn't mean
Hyman's been wanting to say this for a while. There are a lot of bad guys in the Academia, but you're not one of them. You're their weirdo.
You are their weirdo.
Though I must say, I quite enjoy this feeling of being the odd one out. Uniqueness is also an asset, is it not?
It is.
Wow,
It is.
that's a great.
I'm just a more likable person. He won't last long if we leave him here. We'll work out our.
তো গাইস ভিলেজ চিফের কাছে চলে যাব এখনই। যেখানে আমাদের আরো একটা কাটসিন ট্রিগার হবে।
We're back.
You must be tired. You should rest and take some.
What's the situation?
Unfortunately, somebody who's too young to take on the role of Isak's grandfather. Nevertheless, he's one of the people we're trying to find.
So, at one point in time, the abandoned Eleazar Hospital served as.
Yep, pretty much.
Their plan must have been implemented at some point before we arrived at Aru village, since divine cant knowledge has been in circulation for a while now. Yet, they fled once we were headed to the village.
We may have a mole in our midst. One of us could be secretly revealing our whereabouts to the academia.
আলহাইতাম তো করছে না বস, আলহাইতামের চাপ আছে পাইমনের দিকে কি
Are our friendships that shallow?
Looks like none of you have realized wherein lies the issue. Sino, you're the reason why they can predict our movements.
Wait, what's that supposed to mean?
Choose your next words very carefully.
It is simply a logical inference.
So what you're saying is, Sino's the mole. Interesting. And here I thought you were the most suspicious one, Alhaitham, since you were all—
I know. You have a point. But I realized something as we were returning from the hospital. Sino isn't like any of us.
What are you trying to say?
Do you still remember who you are, General Mahamatra? As a Matra, you are no doubt privy to certain kinds of information. Before you can take action against someone, you are required to have all the facts available, including the less than savory details. Simply put, the academia has traditionally allowed you access to a wealth of sensitive information. Knowing their modus operandi, wouldn't you expect them to take precautions against you?
Precautions against you?
If you want to raise a vicious wolf, you need to make sure that you can avoid its bite.
The academia?
It's not that simple. The academia has eyes all over Sumeru, but they have a special protocol for dealing with you. Every so often comes a Nyagarbaha Day. On this day, the academia enters new information into the Akasha through knowledge capsules.
Production
I remember
deployment,
seeing
guys.
the thick
Production
notebook next
deployment.
to the control panel once. Its contents were all about the General Mahamatra, his activities throughout the day, preferred methods of enacting judgment, everything.
You're saying that the academia entered my information into the Akasha too? But what's the point in doing that? My actions aren't
The Akasha is capable of computation. The Akasha's algorithms are entirely capable of predicting your movements using the data entered. When you would depart,
It predicted my every move.
The academia has been watching you longer than you think. However, the fact that you resigned is proof that their suspicions were well-founded.
So that's how it is. Sino adheres to his principles so strongly that he's actually a thorn in their side. Tenacity of will and steadfast— Sino, don't take it to heart. This just proves how much of a
They escaped.
Don't blame yourself. It's not like any of us would have known.
I have an idea. If they predicted my movements.
Whoa, you bound.
There is always an opportunity for safety after danger passes.
Oh, so that's how it is! Paimon gets it now. If the academia is trying to avoid Sino, then the safest place would be—
Sino.
Yep, that—
They'll want to proceed in the direction opposite of where I'm going. I must go.
There's also something I want to investigate.
Let's go, guys!
Please, wait! I want to go
You want to go too? If so—
I want to find Grandpa.
Everyone, I leave him in your hands.
Yay! Let's go!
Bachani
Remember, Paimon feels like we're missing someone, though.
Dehia. We are missing Dehia. Guys, follow Sino করতে করতে Drive from Eleazar Hospital এ আমরা তো ঢুকে তো পড়েছি। আর কোনো অ্যাচিভমেন্টস আনলক হয়নি। কত দূর গড়াবে কে জানে। আরু ভিলেজের একদম মাথায়। তো গাইস এই পাথরটা চড়ে কি আমরা সাইনোকে follow করতে পারবো?
So, where do we go from here?
Yes. After leaving the village, we should head straight toward the desert.
পুরো গাইস ডেজার্টের দিকেই আমরা যাচ্ছি কিন্তু একটা
I know the
ছোট্ট কাজ
desert like the
করব
back of my hand.
Is that because you play here a lot?
ডেন্ড্রোকিউলাস মিস করব না
Yep. One time, Grandpa almost got lost in the desert, but I was the one who brought him back.
তো গাইস ডেন্ড্রোকিউলাসটাও আমরা খুঁজে পেয়ে গেলাম সাইনোকে কোথায় ফলো করতে হবে এবার একটু দেখতে হবে হায়ার না লোয়ার যা বিলিভ করছি হায়ারেই যেতে হবে হাইয়াকু রিচ করতে পারবো আরে আর একটু জন্য হলো না
Boba, get them!
To ashes!
বেশ ভালো করে একটু রিচার্জ করে নি তারপরে উঠবো এবং পালাবো এই ও ঝরে পড়েছে বলো সাইনো কোথায় যেতে হবে? কি আছে যাই থাক চলো দেখি ওই সাইনোকে ফলো করতে হবে একটুখানি ডিটুর জিনিসপত্র নিয়ে নেবো
There's something here. What's this?
It's buried in the sand. Looks like we'll need to roll up our sleeves and do some work.
And Paimon thought running around everywhere was already enough work.
No,
Okay,
it's not
okay.
চলো গাইস আমরা অনেক ডিগ করেছি আজ অবধি
These are likely fragments of an academia-developed device, something akin to a headset. Looks like there were more than one village keeper. They must have been. Let's split up and search the area.
Is this what we're searching for? It looks kind of scary.
This is definitely a device used to.
How did it end up buried in the sand? They must have been attacked along the way.
Wait, what?
Grandpa, I hope you're okay.
Don't worry, your grandpa's gonna be fine.
Razak didn't display any signs of starvation or dehydration, which means that they left fairly recently.
We should be able to catch up.
One more thing. Given that I believe the attack must have happened prior to the sandstorm.
Let's keep going. They can't have gone far.
দৌড়া ভাই দৌড়া
Sand is so tiring.
But you're flying, aren't you, Paimon? Is flying over sand tiring too?
Of course it is.
গাইস কোথায় আমাদের ওয়ে পয়েন্ট ভাই তুই দৌড়া না তুই দৌড়াতে থাক
Voices over there. It sounds like an argument.
Whoa,
ঠিক আছে
you have really good ears.
আর্গুমেন্ট
Don't
আমি
get any
করব
closer.
তোমার সাথে।
They'll notice us.
এত
Dia's
উপরে
talking
আর
with
কি
the
দরকার?
Eremites? Very interesting. Let's listen in.
If you had informed me sooner, there'd be plenty of room for us to.
You're one of us. We would never.
Scholars. You don't know as much as I do. Need me to.
I knew it. That's our Dia.
Dia? Why would you? Dia! Hey, what are you doing?
Huh?
Didn't you say you'd help me find Grandpa? Why are you on their side?
So guys, fight
Well,
হতে
look who's
চলেছে।
here.
This complicates things.
You've betrayed Aru village?
So, this is the great General Mahamatra. Dear, you'd be better off as my assistant than hanging around with this motley crew. Seen for yourself. I have the means and method.
I'm not the type that's easily swayed, Raman. You.
Wait, what's going on, Dia? Whose side are you on here?
চলো গাইস, পাবলিকের নাম আমি
Shut it,
উচ্চারণও
Paimon.
করব না,
It doesn't
কারণ
matter.
এরা পিসফুল
Whichever side
কমিউনিটি।
you pick, nothing can deter us from the grand.
Face the facts, Raman. It's not gonna happen. You should understand that more than anyone. Have all your years as a merc taught you nothing about placing hopes in a ruler?
I'm a desert dweller and a proud follower of King Deshret. Whether I
এইটা
live by
peaceful
the edge of
community
the
বলে তো
sword or in
দেখা।
peaceful...
It's not too late yet. The village keep.
You don't understand, my dear lady. Pursuing our faith...
Even if it'll expose you to the academia? Even if they end up disbanding?
Yes. We've waited a long time for this day to come. With these scholars in our custody.
Ridiculous. If you still don't believe me, then try asking these two men. They're all.
They look more like pawns of the academia to me. Why would I? Filthy traitors.
It's impossible to perhaps.
Do you really believe that by kidnapping the scholars, you'll be able to negotiate with the academia? These people have no value as bargaining chips. These scholars were exiled from the academia. I, on the other hand, am their current scribe, and will be a much greater.
Wait, you can't be serious.
So.
Precisely.
Trade, please.
Any wise person would gladly accept my offer.
What are you thinking? What if they decide to kill you instead?
Well, that would be bad luck for me. However, I'd get the chance to observe the scholars, perhaps even find out the truth.
Think you can...
I'm not trying to persuade you. I'm using this as a means of joining forces against the academia.
You are the scribe. What do you have against the academia?
Not all desert dwellers believe in King Deshret, and the same applies to the academia. Why must all knowledge seekers approve of the academia's way?
You academia scum. Every last one of you is nothing but a hypocrite, just like everyone else on the other side of that wall.
Not so fast. I'll hate them. Do you stand by everything you just said? You know you're making a dangerous decision.
I do.
Good. Raman, hear me out. These people are my friends. Maybe you can't take the followers of the Dendro Archon at their word, but what about me?
We've known each other for years.
In that case, I'm willing to vouch for their Come on, Raman, don't be a coward. If you're serious about taking on the academia, you need to steel yourself. You can't be afraid.
And what if you refuse to oblige? What should I do then? No one's a fool here, Dia. We're mercs. And mercs don't...
You're not wrong, but this is different. I promised my friends that we'd bring back the...
Let's do it right here, then. Give me your right arm as proof of your resolve.
Don't listen to him! He's not even trying to negotiate!
That's fine.
Are you crazy?
We came here to save lives. One arm for that many people is still a pretty good deal, if you ask me. Raman, I'm
Sure. Go ahead and cut off her right arm.
No!
তো গাইস কাটাকাটি শুরু হচ্ছে।
What are you gonna do? Think of something!
You don't have to go this far.
That's not for you to decide.
Do it!
Dia, run!
সিরিয়াসলি কাটাকাটি হচ্ছে এখানে?
Stop!
What's wrong?
Flame Mane, you and I are both desert folk. Cutting off your arm is no different than cutting off my own fingers. Where's the sense in cutting my own kin to pieces? You've shown me that you're serious. Go on now, take your...
তো গাইস কাট সিন আই বিলিভ শেষ হতে চলেছে না আবার শুরু হলো?
Phew. I was really counting.
That was crazy.
Then I just have to hold my claymore with my left arm. Okay, I'm sorry. But sometimes when you're out on a limb, you gotta double down to seal the deal.
Don't ever make a promise like that again. I can deal with the likes of that. If it came down to it, you would not.
I don't doubt it, Sino. But this is about more than me and them. There's a lot more where they came from. Even if we got rid of one bunch of radicals, there are...
I'm sorry, Dia. I should have stayed put and listened.
It's okay. I promised you I'd help find...
Whatever it takes? You just might be scholar material.
Huh? Are you serious?
The Eremites once said that I was a lunatic. Perhaps a little madness is essential to be successful in research.
Why does it feel like he's using his praise for me as an excuse to brag about himself?
তা একটু ঠিক বলেছে।
Okay, let's get moving. We should head back to the village and rest up. Today was just a trial run. Noon tomorrow is gonna be the hard part.
তো গাইস আজকে আমরা রাখবো এটুকুই। কালকে না মানে নেক্সট ভিডিওতে আমরা কোয়েস্ট মেনুতে এটা রয়েছে সিক্রেট অফ দ্য স্কর্চিং ডেজার্ট, পিসফুল কমিউনিটির লোকজনের সাথে আমরা কাল ডিল করতে চলেছি। আমরা একটা পাবো মেমোরি অফ দ্য ফ্লারিশিং গ্রিনও। তো গাইস তোমরা কিন্তু একদমই মিস করবে না ভিডিওগুলো। স্টোরি কোয়েস্টে একবার দেখে নি, নতুন নতুন আনলক হবে, সেটা হচ্ছে টিনারি আনলক হয়ে গেছে। ও এটাও একটা ক্লেম হয়েছে গাইস। নীলও আনলক হয়ে গেছে। অ্যাক্ট 4 শেষ হলে সাইনও আনলক হবে, আর অ্যাক্ট 5 শেষ হলে তবে আমরা নাহিডাও পেয়ে যাব। অ্যাক্ট 5 শেষ হলে নাহিডাও পাচ্ছি, আলাইথামও পাবো এবং ইয়মিয়াও পাবো। আরানিয়াকা পার্ট 2, ওটা সুমেরুর ওয়ার্ল্ড কোয়েস্ট। ওকে ওকে, তারপরে গাইস পুরোটাই সাইনোর একটা চ্যাপ্টারও আছে, বাট উই হ্যাভ টু ব্রিং ইট অন। বুঝতে পেরেছো গাইস? কারণ আমাদেরকে 5.0 আগে অ্যাটলিস্ট আর্কন কোয়েস্ট সুমেরুরটা শেষ করে ফেলতে হবে, তাহলে আমরা গেমে বেশ একটুখানি এগিয়ে যেতে পারবো। গাইস আই ওয়াজ পুটিং ইট আ লং টাইম। তো গাইস নেক্সট ভিডিওতে আমরা চালু করছি সিক্রেটস অফ দ্য ডেজার্ট। তোমরা মিস করবে না ভিডিওটাকে। তো হাই স্টোরি টেলিং টাইম তোমাদের যদি ভালো লেগে থাকে তাহলে লাইক করে জানিও, আর কমেন্ট করে জানিও তোমাদের ডেহিয়ার আর্ম কেটে যাওয়ার থেকে বাঁচাতে দেখে কেমন লাগলো। আজকে আমরা রাখবো এটুকুই। ওকে গাইস, বাই।